Today, we're diving into a topic that might sound like it belongs to an economics textbooks, but trust me, it affects you more than you think. We are talking about tariffs. You have probably heard about tariffs in the news, especially during Donald Trump's presidency. But what do they actually mean to your wallet? Are they really protecting American jobs? Or are they making your everyday purchases more expensive? By the end of this video, you will know exactly how tariffs impact whether you are buying groceries, filling up your gas tank, or even shopping for a new smartphone. And trust me, you will want to stick around because what you're about to learn might just change the way you see the economy. Are tariffs the secret weapon for American prosperity, or are they an invisible tax draining your wallet? Let's find out. What is a tariff? First, let's break it down. A tariff is essentially a tax that government places on imported goods. Imagine you're at the grocery store and you see two brands of coffee, one made in the US and the other one imported from Brazil. If the government places a tariffs on Brazilian coffee, that means it now costs more for stores to buy and sell it. Sounds simple, right? But here's where it gets interesting, because tariffs don't just affect the businesses importing goods. They affect you, the consumer. If your morning coffee now costs $2 more per bag because of tariffs, that's money straight out of your pocket. And it's not just coffee. It's cars, electronics, clothing, even the ingredients in your favorite fast food. For example, let's say you're buying a car. If tariffs are placed on imported steel from countries like Canada or China, it makes the steel used in American-made cars more expensive. That means car manufacturers have to pay more for steel, which leads them to raise the price of your vehicle. Whether it's a brand new SUV or that used sedan you've been looking at, you'll feel the cost increase. And guess what? You are not just paying high prices for cars. You are paying more for everything steel it's involved in, from construction metals to appliances like refrigerators and microwaves. But why do governments use tariffs? And are they actually good for the economy? Comment below. Back in 2018, Trump launched a series of tariffs aimed at China, Europe, Canada, and Mexico, claiming that they would help protect American jobs and industries. In fact, one of the main reasons for imposing these tariffs was to push fair trade, with the idea that other countries were unfairly benefiting from trade with the US. Here's what happened. China got hit with $250 billion in tariffs. Steel and aluminum imports faced taxes up to 25%. Even everyday items like washing machines, solar panels, and cars became more expensive. Trump called it America First, but let's take a closer look at the effects. Do you think these tariffs help American workers or just made things more expensive? Comment below. This is where things get controversial. While the goal was to protect American jobs, the tariffs had some unexpected consequences. A 2019 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that the entire cost of Trump's tariffs was passed on to US consumers. That means you paid more for goods, not foreign companies. For example, washing machine prices jumped 12% after tariffs were placed on imports. The cost of steel-based products from cars to construction materials skyrocketed. You might think that this is just a small price bump, but when you're talking about large items like homes or even everyday groceries, these price increases compound into a significant financial burden. For example, remember how these tariffs were supposed to save American jobs? Well, they actually eliminated jobs in some industries. A study from the Federal Reserve found that while some American manufacturers benefited From the tariffs, the overall effect caused a net loss of 300,000 US jobs. The manufacturing sector saw some gains, but industries like tech and consumer goods felt the pain of increased prices for components and raw materials. And let's not forget, these jobs weren't just in factories. Many people in the retail and service industries also felt the effect of fewer products on shelves, higher prices, and the slower economy that came as a result. And let's not forget about the farmers. China responded to Trump's tariffs by slapping retaliatory tariffs on American agricultural products like soybeans, pork, and dairy. That means US farmers suddenly couldn't sell their products to one of their own biggest buyers, China. Imagine you own a farm and you have been selling your soybeans to China for years. Suddenly, because of the trade war, your biggest consumer stops buying. Now what? Farmers were left with surplus crops they couldn't sell, and in many cases, their profits dropped drastically. To keep farmers from going bankrupt, the government had to step in with a $28 billion bailout. That's taxpayer money, your money going towards subsidies to support farmers who could not find new customers. While the bailout helped in the short term, the long-term consequences were staggering. In addition, the loss of billions in agriculture exports. These tariffs contributed to a rise in the price of many everyday food products in the US. Higher prices at the grocery store meant that consumers like you paid for tariffs twice. Once through higher food costs, and again through your taxes funding the bailout. So who actually benefits from tariffs? Some American manufacturers saw a boost, like those in the steel and aluminum industries. After all, tariffs made it more expensive for companies to import steel, so domestic producers had an advantage in the marketplace. But the reality is that most industries were impacted in a more negative way. Consumers paid more for everything, from groceries to electronics. Farmers lost billions in exports, and the American public had to pay for it in the form of subsidies and higher food costs. Businesses suffered due to the increased production cost and unpredictability in global supply chains. And the kicker? Despite all of this, the US trade deficit with China barely changed. The whole point of these tariffs was to level the playing field with China, and that did not work as planned. Do you think tariffs work as intended, or are they just another hidden tax on Americans? Let me know in the comments down below. So, what's the big takeaway here? Tariffs sounds like a way of protecting American workers, but in reality, they often mean higher prices, job losses, and economic instability. While there are some isolated winners in the form of steel producers and select manufacturers, the broad picture is that tariffs are a tax on American people. Whether you are buying a pair of jeans, filling your gas tank, or paying for kids' education, these tariffs affect you in ways that most people don't realize. Now, as we look at the future, will tariffs continue to play a role in the US trade policy? With the past 2024 elections, presidents, Congress, and even average American voters will need to decide whether we want to continue using tariffs as a tool or whether we need a new, more effective strategy for dealing with global trade imbalances. If you found this video informative, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our economy. And don't forget, next time you are in the store and prices seem high, ask yourself, is a tariff to blame? I will see you on the next video.